Hi dear students. So in today's class, let's start a new lesson that is from biology part, the lesson number 1, life process. So you're going to learn about life process definition, nutrition, under nutrition, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition, and nutrition in human being. So let's start the lesson through a small introduction. Okay. So this picture tells us about the organisms. So these organisms are classified into two, that is living organism and non-living organisms. So how do we tell the difference between what is alive and what is not alive? Based on the movement. But what about the plants? Plants are not moving from one place to another, though they are considered living organisms. Why? So, what is the criteria for living organisms? The visible movements, isn't it? Such as walking, breathing, or growing. It is used to decide whether the something is alive or not. But there are some movements which are invisible to our eyes. For example, molecular movement. We have seen in earlier classes that living organisms are well organized structure. They can have tissues, tissues have cells, cells have smaller components in them, and so on. Because of the effect of environment, this organized, ordered nature of living structure is very likely to keep breaking down over time. In order to break down, the organisms will no longer be alive. So, living creatures must keep repairing and maintaining their structure. So, virus, usually coronavirus, as you all know, in present situation, how it affecting our life. So, viruses do not show any molecular movement in them until they infect some cells. So, since all these structures are made up of molecules, they must move molecules around all the time. So, what are the maintenance processing in living organisms? Let's explore. That is life process. Then, what is life process? The basic function performed by living organisms to maintain their life on this earth are called life process. Maintenance of functions. Okay, for example, movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, nutrition, and excretion. So, all these are called life process. So, in today's class, we're going to learn about one of the life process, that is nutrition. Okay, what is nutrition? It is the process of taking in food and utilizing it in the organisms. Okay, usually there are two types of nutrition, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. So you already learnt about autotrophs. So what do you mean by this? Plants are called autotrophs. Why? Because they prepare their own food. Yes. So let's study about autotrophic nutrition. So the process by which green plants make their own food from carbon dioxide and water by using sunlight in the presence of chlorophyll is called So what are the raw materials required for the plants to prepare their food? They are carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and chlorophyll. So what is chlorophyll? It is a green pigment present in a leaf. Okay, why leaf is in green color? Because of chlorophyll. So let's see the equation, that is carbon dioxide and water, they react each other in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. They give out carbohydrate, that is glucose, and along with the oxygen gas. So this is the product in photosynthesis process. Okay. So the next heterotrophic nutrition. So heterotrophic, it is a type of nutrition in which organisms are dependent on other organisms for their food requirements. For example, animals, all the animals are heterotrophs because they depend on others to get the food, as well as fungi and bacteria. So let's see the types of heterotrophic nutrition. So the first one, holozoic nutrition. What do you mean by holozoic nutrition? See, some organisms takes food in whole material. Okay, some organisms in which take in whole material and break it down inside their body. They take a full whole food in a single gulp and then they break down inside their body. Then the next one, example for holozoic nutrition like frog, lizard, etc. Then the parasitic nutrition. This type of nutrition in which organisms derive nutrition from plants and animals without killing them. For example, leeches, lice, then orchids, cascata. Some trees have other plants. Other plants grows in some trees. You might have seen a mango tree, guava tree. Then extra plants arise from the tree. They are considered parasites. The next one, saprophytic nutrition. So what do you mean? What are saprophytes? These organisms break down the food material outside the body and then absorb it. They are called saprophytes. For example, fungi, bread molds, yeast, and mushrooms. Okay. Yes. Now let's see the nutrition in amoeba. So amoeba is unicellular organisms. So how they obtain their food? Let's see. So amoeba takes in food using a pseudopodia. You can see the structure here, pseudopodia, which fuse over the food particles and forms a food vacuole. Here you can see the food vacuole. So once they get their prey, they encloses that prey and forms a food vacuole. Inside the food vacuole, complex substances are broken into simpler ones, which then diffuses into cytoplasm. So this is called cytoplasm. Okay, and finally the undigested food is moved out through the surface of the cell and thrown out. This is the nutrition in amoeba. So even in other unicellular organisms, same kind of nutrition occurs. Okay, now let's see the nutrition in a human. Human digestive system consists of alimentary canal and associated glands. So alimentary canal, you can see the long tube extending from mouth to the anus. So this alimentary canal is a long tube extending from mouth to anus. Okay, now let's see how the food is digested in our body. So first the digestion starts in a mouth. Okay, digestion in mouth. So in the mouth we take food through our mouth, isn't it? That is intake of food. And in the mouth there are teeth, tongue and salivary glands. These are present in the mouth. So intake of food that is in mouth, and then teeth they crushes the food into simpler form So the food which we eat, that is broken down that by the teeth, and then tongue, it helps in the movement of the food molecules, that is toasting and rolling of the food done by the tongue. And our mouth consists salivary glands. It produces saliva, and this consists enzymes called salivary amylase. They breaks down starch complex molecules to give simple sugar. So salivary amylase breaks down the carbohydrate which we eat into simple sugar, and then food reaches to the stomach. Okay, now this is called bolus. Okay, now it is in the form of a bolus. So how does the food reach stomach from mouth? Through a esophagus. Okay, so this esophagus consists smooth muscles, and they contract rhythmically in order to push the food forward to stomach, and this movement is called peristaltic movement. So now the food is reached to the stomach. Okay, the stomach is a large organ which expands when food enters it. The muscular walls of the stomach helps in mixing the food thoroughly with the more digestive juices. So this stomach secretes some of the gastric glands called juices, such as hydrochloric acid, pepsin, and mucus. So what is hydrochloric acid? You have already learnt about this. This is a strong acid, right? Yes. Now let's see the functions of all these gastric glands one by one. Okay. Hydrochloric acid kills the bacteria and it acidifies the stomach. So that means it creates an acidic medium which facilitates the action of the enzymes pepsin. So it helps pepsin to break down the proteins into amino acids. Okay, mainly HCl acidifies the food. So that it helps for the pepsin for the further breaking of a food, and also it kills some of the foreign materials, such as some of the harmful bacteria, microbes in the stomach. And the mucus that is present in the lining of a stomach, it neutralizes the acid. That is, if excess acid is produced in the stomach, that is regulated by the mucus. Okay, so it is the inner lining of stomach from the action of the acid under normal conditions. It mainly protects the stomach from more excess acid. After that, the food goes to the small intestine. Before that, there is a small muscle, that is sphincter muscle, that regulates the food. Okay, that means it holds the food, that is bolus, until the food gets digested in the stomach. Okay, after that it releases small amounts of food into the small intestine. Now the food reaches to the small intestine from stomach. Okay, now let's see what happens in a small intestine. So it is the site of complete digestion. Okay, so meanwhile, liver, gallbladder, pancreas also secretes some of the juices. Okay, and let's see the function of these juices. Liver mainly produces bile juice and bile salt. Bile juice makes the food alkaline. So now once the food reaches to the stomach, it acidifies, and further that is neutralized by the bile juice, and bile salt breaks the large fat globules into small globules, and this process is called a emulsification. And further, this gallbladder stores the bile juice and salts. This gallbladder stores the bile salt and bile juice which is secreted by the liver. And pancreas consists trypsin and lipase. So trypsin breaks down proteins into amino acid. This does the same as that of pepsin. Pepsin in the stomach, but trypsin present in the pancreas. But the function is same. Pepsin also breaks down protein into amino acid, and trypsin also breaks down protein into amino acid. And lipase breaks down emulsified fat. Okay, this is the function of liver, pancreas and gallbladder. And after that, the food reaches to the small intestine. Okay, small intestine consists finger like structure called villi, and this increases the surface area of absorption. Villi are supplied the food to blood vessels, and then the blood vessels takes the food to each and every cell of the body. So this is the main function of small intestine. Once the food reaches to the small intestine, because of the villi, they absorbs the food and it supplies to the blood vessels, and through the blood vessels the food goes to the various parts of the body. And finally, the unabsorbed food is sent to the long intestine, whereas its wall absorbs more water from this material, and rest of the material is removed from the body through the anus. Further, the unabsorbed food goes to the large intestine. In large intestine, the water is absorbed from the unabsorbed food, and finally the waste material goes out through the anus. So this is the nutrition, about nutrition in a human being. So finally we have reached at the end of this class. So we have learned about the life process, what is life process, nutrition under autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition, and nutrition in a human being. Thank you.